Thank you, Mark, for offering me this position. To look at this question, we're really looking to balance between the health benefits of fluoride versus the ethical concerns of consent. And so, to answer this question, I'm really going to break my answer down into three things. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the benefits. Secondly, I'm going to talk about some of the ethical concerns and some cons. And thirdly, I'm going to talk about my position and some changes I might have. Additionally, I'll also talk about some of my previous experiences and how I believe that this is a kind of prompt that is key for dentists to consider going forward. So first of all, talking about some of the benefits we have here, as mentioned, we know that fluoride has been shown to be very key in terms of helping prevent cavities in children, and especially in areas where income is often low and it's difficult for families to see continuous and recurrent treatment. This can be a key way to help act as a preventative measure for cavities showing up in children. Additionally, dental costs in Canada are very high, and for many people, it's considered a luxury. And so it's important for us to consider this perspective from low income families who are often struggle to be able to go for things such as cavity cleanings or regular checkups and things like that. And so we have to ensure that when we think about policy in this way, we're thinking about our most in need participants of society, whether it be low income neighborhoods who are struggling to be able to afford dental care, or on the flip side, we should also look at this from the perspective of our rural and indigenous communities. Especially in those geographically isolated communities, it's often that they do not have access to dental care, or if they do want to go and see a specialist, they have to travel very far. So, especially in communities like that, it's key that we take these into consideration and understand that there are many great benefits that may come from offering these fluorinated shots to children. Secondly, though, I want to talk about some of the ethical concerns and some of the cons of a policy like this moving forward. So, obviously, the most obvious ethical concern here is the parental consent and autonomy. I believe that by offering parents the ability to opt out, but not informing them ahead of time that they have to also opt in, is can be a very big violation of their autonomy and their ability to have consent over the children's care. Additionally, we need to mention and that parents and children both should also be told about some of the potential health concerns that may come with fluorination, such as any kind of issues that it might have in long-term development. It is important that when we are offering services of any kind, that we inform and consent our patients, both the pros and the cons. And so I think that for a policy like this moving forward, it would be very important that the parents are informed both based on the consent terms, but they are also informed on any of the potential uh, uh, off alternative effects that may come from things such as fluorination. Combining these two together, third of all, Mark, I want using the two things that we just discussed, both the benefits and the ethical concerns, I believe that my position on this issue would be to move forward with this fluorination policy with a couple caveats. The first caveat being that parents should be informed before any kind of policy like this goes forward so that they have the ability to opt in or opt out. So I believe that children and parents should actually have to opt in to a program like this, not that it's only opt out. And secondly, I think that there should be some kind of educational process before these fluorination shots are brought in, where they talk about things such as both any kind of health benefits, the pros and the cons of fluorination, allowing and ensuring that both the children and the parents are making the best informed decision possible. With that in consideration, I wanted to talk about how this prompt actually reflects some of my own personal experiences. So I grew up in a rural city in Alberta, Lloydminster had a very small population, and oftentimes we faced shortages when it came to things such as dentists and dental processes due to very large backflows of scheduling. And because of this, oftentimes my family had to travel great distances to go to the nearest metropolitan area. And so in the school that I went to, we were actually offered these fluorination shots, and I vividly remember having that bubblegum taste in my mouth from those fluorination shots. And there were many families who chose to opt in and many families who chose to opt out, and they were given this and we were all informed on both the pros and the cons. And I believe that the way that my city handled it was a great way approach to it because it allowed people to both opt in and both opt out. And I think moving forward for a policy like this in a situation like that, that is a great way that it should be handled. And fundamentally, linking this back to my future as a dentist and going forward in my career, I believe that patient autonomy and consent and proper made decisions are a key to any kind of healthcare procedure, but especially in dentistry. I want to ensure that as a dentist moving forward, I give my patients all the information they need to make the best possible decisions moving forward. And I want to explain both the pros and the cons of any kind of procedure moving forward. And so, all in all, I believe that this prompt really highlights some of the key issues that us dentists will face forward in our career, both in terms of balancing both the pros and the cons of any kind of healthcare procedure, but also ensuring that our patients understand the pros and the cons and are able to make the most well informed decision. Thank you. And with that, I'd love to open the door for any kind of follow up questions.